As you may remember from our previous demo, Gravity is a research prototype providing real-time, cloud-based, collaborative business process modeling. In this video, we will demonstrate extensions made to this tool that enable end users to build process-centric applications and blur the borderline between application development and business process modeling. The scenario will consider CBD Engineering, a medium-sized construction and engineering company operating in a tough economic climate at the end of 2009. As part of internal cost-saving measures, in order to travel, employees now require management approval one level up, as well as finance approval. Additionally, the company has selected a new travel agent. The previous process was only poorly supported by IT, and there was no system integration with the previous travel agent. Sanya, a sales manager from CBD Engineering, is using Google Wave to communicate with her colleagues. She starts a new wave with Robert from the consulting division to discuss her thoughts on the new travel request process. She has heard about Gravity and is keen to see how it works. Sanya also adds their manager, Vanessa, to the conversation to keep her in the loop. Peter, from Sales Operations, is familiar with Gravity and is happy to get the ball rolling. If we zoom out, we can see on the right, Peter is adding the Gravity canvas and begins building the process model. On the left, we can see Sanya following Peter's progress. Both the Gravity canvas as well as the modeling elements appear on her screen in near real time. If we zoom into Peter's screen, we can see that he has created activities for a travel request and a management approval in the model view in business process modeling notation. He then switches to the application design view to design the corresponding user interfaces that have automatically been generated for each activity. Both model view and application design view are two perspectives on the same business process. Changes in each perspective are propagated to the other automatically. Peter continues to develop the user interfaces, selecting a web form for the travel request activity. Management approval is a task allowing the manager to accept or reject the request. Peter completes the data entry form for the travel request activity and moves on to management approval. Peter selects Vanessa as the approver to comply with the new travel regulations, as she is the manager for both sales and consulting. He also adds a map to show the user's intended destination. Information that is entered in the travel request, including the destination and travel dates, can be transferred from the request interface to the management approval interface by linking the corresponding blue arrows between the two boxes with a line. The destination text box is linked to the map input arrow so that at runtime, the map shows the correct location when Vanessa opens the approval task. We now switch back to Sanya's screen as she selects the application design view to see the two completed user interfaces. She then chooses to simulate the process to test out what Peter has built. When she hits the send button, the management approval interface becomes active, and the data she entered is transferred to this screen. In the meantime, Robert adds Kimberly, one of his fellow consultants, to the conversation. Given her experience, she would be able to verify if the user interfaces are suitable for the consultants to make their travel requests as well. Switching to Kimberly's screen, we see that she opens the wave and uses the Google Wave playback function to come up to speed with the situation. Halfway through the playback, she switches the Gravity canvas to the application design view, as she's interested to watch the progress from this perspective. As some consultants travel regularly to the same place, Kimberly adds a drop-down box for recurring trips. Meanwhile, Sanya has added Stephen to the conversation. Stephen is from the finance department and is the best person to contribute to the process definition from this perspective. Stephen also uses the playback function. He immediately adds a finance approval function to comply with the new regulations. He then switches to the application design view to build the user interface. While he is doing this, we can zoom out to see Peter's perspective shown on the right. And at the same time, Kimberly is adding the rejection notification activity in the application design view and starts building up the user interface for this activity. We can see the user interface appear in Stephen's screen on the left, and the model is automatically updated to include the interface Kimberly is building. Once Kimberly has finished the interface, she continues linking up the activities, connecting the management approval rejection button to the rejection notification and the accept button to the finance approval activity. These changes are also updated in the model as an exclusive OR split. Shown on the left, Stephen recognises what Kimberly is doing and connects his rejection button from finance approval to the rejection notification. This also has an implication on the model. As we can see in Peter's screen on the right, an inclusive join has been added to the model. However, this join does not match the exclusive OR split, creating a deadlock in the model. So Peter rectifies the error by changing to an exclusive OR join. This action is then reflected in the application design view on the left, as the orange connector has moved to the top input arrow of the rejection notification user interface. Stephen also added the approval notification interface. He then uses the simulation button to understand how the whole process works for both approval and notification. Switching back to Sania's screen, she is adding Emily to the wave. Emily is from the new travel agent CBD has contracted to manage their travel bookings. Sania asks Emily what information she needs to give a quote, whether she prefers this in an email, and if she would like to use Gravity as well. Emily responds with a list of information she requires and is interested in using Gravity. Over on Kimberly's screen, she adds a login user interface and links this to the travel request interface to personalize it with the user's name. In the model view, we can see that the model has automatically been updated to include the login activity. She continues working on the model and builds user interfaces for obtaining quotes, and Emily is able to oversee this. With Emily's endorsement of the quotation aspect, the development is now complete and can be executed by visiting a URL using a web browser. A user can log into the application, enter a trip they want to make to Sydney in January, and submit it for approval. The user can also rate their experience using the application and provide feedback. Vanessa is then able to give her approval or rejection. A notification of the outcome is sent to the user, and the process is complete. After a while, Robert revisits the process to check for comments and ratings, and based on the comment, he decides to add a map to the travel request form. As we have now seen, Gravity enables end users across different organizations to collaboratively model business processes, build process-centric applications in one integrated tool, and execute them on the cloud.